You probably can't go a week these days without hearing something, good or bad, about Tesla. Maybe it's about their cars catching on fire, or some of the craziness of the company's CEO, Elon Musk, or just something kind of kooky about their latest vehicle, the Cybertruck. Teslas are literally everywhere these days. And if you're anything like me, you're probably going to Google, or you already have Googled a ton of questions before considering buying one. To start off, the electric driving experience is something else. And the freedom from a gas station is probably something that I underrated when I first decided to go electric. However, one thing I didn't expect coming into owning a Tesla was the number of questions I get about the vehicle, or kind of more generally, the electric vehicle ownership experience. Now, while electric cars have been technically around for quite some time, there's still a lot I feel like the general public don't really know about them, or kind of have their skepticisms about the technology itself. So for my research, before purchasing the vehicle and through ownership itself, just for the short time that I have had the car, I hope to share my knowledge with you all and answer some of the frequently asked questions about driving an electric car. Those are the most common questions I get about my car. Unfortunately, it's not a simple answer. Unlike gas stations and traditional internal combustion vehicles, aka ICE vehicles, you might hear, refueling an electric car does take significantly longer, and actual charging times can also vary depending on the charger that you have. That also depends on the size of the battery you have in your vehicle, and honestly, even weather and temperature could impact your charge rate. But there's really no need to go, into complete details here. So I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible. There are three main types of chargers: level 1, level 2, and you guessed it, level 3. Level 1 chargers are your typical home outlet, and it's definitely the slowest. For my Model 3, at 10% to full charge, this will take over 24 hours to complete, and the car will literally show 24 plus hours to complete on the screen when charging this way. It probably adds about 5 miles an hour. So while slow, it's still manageable if you don't do a lot of daily driving. Level 2 is a common solution for public charging stations, and something that you can also have installed at your home to charge your vehicle faster. These are definitely becoming more common in like parking lots and some shopping centers, and these could easily charge my car from 10% to full in about 8 hours. Now, again, while the actual charging rate can differ based on a few technical, specifications, different level 2 chargers have provided me with anywhere from 18 to 30 miles per hour of charging, which honestly isn't bad. So for those with longer commutes, this could easily fuel and recharge your car overnight. The fastest charging option out there is known as level 3 charging. For Tesla owners, this may be known as superchargers, or if you have any other EV, it's probably called, I think, DC fast charging. For my Model 3, this could get me from 10% to full in only about an hour. Actually, electric vehicles have been around for quite some time now, as I mentioned earlier. And the early tech around EVs probably gave it the bad reputation of not possibly having that much range. While probably true back then, today's technology has enabled electric vehicles to start competing with their gas-powered counterparts, or at least provide consumers with the range they need for a daily driver vehicle. For my Tesla Model 3 Performance, it can go about 300 miles on a full charge. Other competing vehicles are pretty much on par with this, ranging from 250 to almost 400 miles on a full charge, which should definitely be sufficient for most people's daily or even weekly commutes. Great question. And the answer is sort of. My Tesla has Autopilot, which is a driver assist system. It can handle things like keeping the car in its lane, maintaining speed, and even navigating highways with some input. At the end of its free trial, I will also have the option to purchase the full self-driving or FSD package, which adds features like automatic lane changes, parking, and recognizing stop signs and traffic lights. But here's the thing, Tesla's Autopilot and FSD aren't fully autonomous. I still have to keep my hands on the wheel and be ready to take over at any moment. It's definitely amazing tech, but it's not a car that you can just, sit back and let it drive itself. At least, not yet. Two things, actually: driving experience and software updates. The car, being all electric, drives quite differently than a normal car. The acceleration is quick, and of course, there are fast gas cars out there, but with the electric motors, the acceleration feels more like a fast launch roller coaster. The really standout feature with the car to me is definitely the software updates. A Tesla is essentially a computer, like on wheels, and like any computer or your phone even, it gets regular software updates. No need to go to a dealership because it downloads over the air and you get a notification on your phone to install them. These software updates can range anywhere from small bug fixes and UI enhancements to larger feature updates like autopilot improvements and added features to the vehicle. So for example, when the car was first sold to consumers, rear heated seats weren't available. But through a software update, they became part of the car. The same thing happened with its built-in cameras, behaving as a dash cam of sorts, recording and saving driving footage that definitely can be useful in the instance of an accident. Because of software updates, I feel like my car kind of regularly feels fresh and new, which is something that no other car company has been able to offer me. The price, of course, depends on the model that you do decide to purchase. The Model 3 starts around $40,000 US, while the luxury Model S Plaid can go north of $100,000. My Model 3 Performance, it's I think in like the mid $50,000 range. But don't forget, tax credits and state incentives might lower your final cost. For example, New Jersey, there's a full article outlining incentives on a state-by-state basis on Tesla's website. But as I was scrolling earlier, I just picked one at random. And if you live in New Jersey, you not only get this $7,500 federal tax incentive, but you also get a state incentive of up to $4,000. This would mean that $40,000 Model 3 could be yours for less than $29,000. That's a huge savings. Not really. Teslas don't need oil changes, and the electric motor has fewer moving parts than a gas engine. Most costs are going to be for tires, brake fluid, and cabin air filters. For example, here are the basics: tire rotation every 10,000 miles or so, brake fluid and cabin air filter replacement every 2 years, and regular checkups on your windshield wipers and washer fluid. Way less than a traditional vehicle. All in all, there's a lot of good reasons for people to ask questions about Tesla and their vehicles. It's new technology, and while they do sell cars and of course other things, it's not just a traditional car that they have to offer. Charging, autopilot, software updates, and so much more are things we haven't seen in other vehicles, and something that I think people will just naturally have questions about. So if you have any other questions that I didn't address in this video, please feel free to leave them in a comment down below, and I'll do my best to answer them or even cover them in a future video. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more Tesla and tech content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.